Cody Bellinger, is it boom or bust for him at this point in the offseason?
As far as his future with the Yankees, I mean, as far as the Yankees having him as the number one target.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the number one sports podcast network in the country. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias. He's Brian McKeon. We're both lifelong Yankee fans hosting the show together for 2 full seasons. It's our second full off season together, and we'd like to thank you for making Locked On Yankees your first listen every day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. The wild card round is here, and FanDuel is officially in playoff mode. So visit FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL, and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day.
If you're a Yankee fan who feels like our next guest looks like a bunch of different guys associated with the team, you're not crazy. He's called games on Yes, FAN, done radio, TV, pre and post, and you often see him as the on-field host before Yankee games at the stadium. He can also be seen hosting Brooklyn Nets pre and post game across the Yes Network and covering boxing on DAZN. Please welcome a Fordham grad, Justin Shackil. Justin, what's up? How are you?
Brian, Stacey, thanks for having me. Appreciate y'all.
Your career is very, very interesting, to say the least. We met working at WFAN, you working behind the scenes, and then one day I was at a Yankee game and I see you on the field doing the pregame stuff on the field at the stadium. Like, you're everywhere now. Like, talk about your career ascension and how cool it's been, because I mean, you're all over the place.
Yeah, thank you, man. I love what I do, first and foremost, and I think one job truly led to another, because I've never been a full-time employee anywhere in my life. So I don't know what traditional health benefits look like. I don't know any of that stuff. And I think it kind of has worked to my advantage. And the Yankees on-field digital media hosting job kind of led to me being more involved with Yankee game day broadcasts on both radio and TV. And I'll just give you the short end of the story. I started doing digital media work for the Yankees in 2016. And, you know, you're in a certain spot, people start recognizing you. They start to get familiar with you as a person, with you as a worker. And while I was doing that, I would cut demos of radio play-by-play for like 20 to 25 games each year, because my boss's office is actually a radio booth along the broadcast corridor at Yankee Stadium. So he would be in the big scoreboard control room during the games, and I had the booth to myself, and I would bring a laptop and an audio mixer, and I would just cut demos, because I started my career in minor league baseball doing radio. I've always wanted to be a baseball announcer. I've always wanted to do play-by-play. So I wasn't doing it full time. I asked myself, how could I just stay fresh? Because I think that really matters in terms of trying to get that play-by-play job. Employers are going to first and foremost want to know, hey, are you doing it? And the only way for me to do it at that moment was to stay in the New York market and find a way to call games. So I would just cut demos, and I had a pretty cool training ground. It was Yankee Stadium. So by the time they needed a fill-in for John Sterling, I was able to hand them a tape of pretty much what the product would sound like. So that I think helped a lot. And by doing the scoreboard shows and the digital media stuff, Yes was becoming more and more familiar with me. They would hand me some one-off assignments, and the assignments just kind of kept growing from year to year, and kind of here we are now.
It's a great story of just like learning how to make your way in this business. You got to put yourself out there. You got to just do it, really. Like, get stuff done, put the demos out there, send them to everybody, because you never know who's going to like what they hear. We really do want to hear your opinion on Yankee stuff, though. So let me start asking that kind of stuff. First off, it's a simple question, and I'm sure you have an answer already detailed. Cody Bellinger, is it boom or bust for him at this point in the offseason?
As far as his future with the Yankees, I mean, as far as the Yankees having him as the number one target.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what the Cody Bellinger market truly is. I don't think any of us on the outside know because we're not really hearing about it. Same thing with Kyle Tucker. I was told maybe 3-4 weeks ago that Cody Bellinger didn't necessarily need to wait for Kyle Tucker to sign in order to have his markets sort of established. So I think this is just kind of like the natural game of free agency. Feels like the Yankees want to be careful, not getting themselves in a similar situation that they kind of had on their hands with the DJ LeMahieu deal several years back. Bellinger's a terrific player. We all know that. He's the kind of player that I'd want on my team. You know, he fits here. He's also done it in some high profile places outside of New York. But if we're talking the free agent game here, wouldn't it surprise you if he received a 6-year deal here at some point? Like, I don't really know what that market is. So I just think this is such a slow walk of chess. And it's not just in the case of Cody Bellinger, it's throughout free agency. I think that leads to a larger question at hand, right? About what off seasons look like in Major League Baseball. But I feel like the Yankees and Cody Bellinger eventually will find a way to meet in the middle, and I just think they're both doing their due diligence at the moment.
That's exactly what I wanted to hear. Stacey, ask yours.
Well, I have to reword this because as we record this on Thursday, the original question was, how do you feel about the lack of noise around Bo Bichette? But suddenly it seems that the interest in Bo Bichette has gone up a bit with the Phillies being involved, with the Yankees possibly being involved. How do you feel about the fact that the Blue Jays aren't involved in this at all, from what it seems reports wise?
Yeah, I think you always have to keep that in mind because the team that employed them, and look, Bo Bichette grew up a Blue Jay. He came through that system. They know that player as good as anybody. So I don't know how real the interest is in Bichette. I think the Yankees probably checked in at the beginning of the offseason just to see what that market could potentially look like. I don't know if they had recent talks. I don't know if they kind of circled back like everybody's doing at the start of the new year. But I feel like obviously Bichette's a good player. I like the player a lot. He just recorded his lowest strikeout rate of his career. He was leading the league in hits up until he was injured in early September, ironically playing against the Yankees. So I think he would fit the Yankee lineup really well. Also just 27. I think Cody Bellinger is the better all-around player right now. Obviously a little bit older. The thing with Bichette potentially fitting with the Yankees, they maintain that they really like the group that they have right now and how much they sort of value consistency. And I think a lot of teams are looking at the Blue Jays blueprint right now, and they realize this is a team that finished near the bottom of their division, at the bottom of the division in 2024, largely kept the same group intact and won a pennant. So I think the Yankees like what they have. I think adding a Bo Bichette kind of creates a domino effect of subsequent changes and sort of messes with that consistency, whereas Bellinger is a pretty easy fit. So could that be a pivot in case Bellinger doesn't work out? I guess so. I think they would probably look harder in it, but I would have to say, if you're going to ask me for the Yankees, is it Bellinger or Bichette? I think obviously it's still going to be Bellinger by a wide margin.
Here's my question to you then. Why not both? Like, this is the New York Yankees we're talking about.
Man.
This is a multi-billion-dollar franchise. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, you could have said that before the offseason about, hey, why not Bellinger and Tucker? Why not Bellinger and Bichette? I think we kind of say that amongst our Yankee brethren and fellow Yankee fans, like, hey, yeah, I mean, why are we choosing here each offseason? Whomever the free agent du jour is that given offseason, we're kind of saying that all the time. Bottom line now, different times, right? Whether you like it or not, it's not the Yankees that we grew up on. And I think, to be fair, it's not the game we grew up on. It's not the business that we grew up on. So things have had to change. Things have changed. I don't know if you're ever going back, but yeah, like, why not? That would be great when you have your fan cap on, when you understand that it's, man, and I hate saying it because, you get into these jobs, like, bottom line, I got into it first because I'm a fan. I love baseball. So yeah, you want to have your team field the best roster imaginable, but Bottom line is, yeah, it's a business. Does that prevent them from always not doubling down and leaving no doubt and opening up the wallet and just going on a spending spree? I mean, we don't see it every single year. We see it once in a blue moon now, but that's the case for really all 30 teams, if you're going to be honest with yourself, Dodgers, Mets included. So I just think we're in such a different age of the game right now in sports in general.
I gotta ask this because you've been around the team for a while now. Since 2016, you've been really around the organization. You've traveled with the team. You've been involved in like their first class kind of organization where they run things. What is your gauge, at least, being around the team in the clubhouse? How close are they? Like as just guys and as a team, right? Do you think there's a country club attitude like people kind of say that there is from the outside of the organization, or do you think it's different?
I think they are really close. I think they're also really guarded. Like they don't want anybody inside those doors, and I think the team just does a good job of guarding off the outside noise. I mean, us as reporters, yeah, I get to spend a little bit more time around them than like your conventional beat writer because, like you said, we're traveling with them as part of the broadcast crew. But I think they like to be incubated, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I mean, if you go back to, when we were all competing on teams as a youth and spending close time with our teammates, we were kind of incubated and we were with them nonstop. And yeah, I've seen some clubhouses that haven't been as close. I see some clubhouses that have been inseparable. This feels more like it's leading toward the inseparable end. Are they that tight? I don't know about that, but this is a very tight-knit group. I firmly believe that they make personal decisions when it comes to businesses on the field. I feel like they make decisions that pertains to them individually based on how it would help the team.
Really quick before one more, not an obvious name. Give me an unsung leader in that clubhouse that from your observation, but don't give me like a Judge or a Stanton. Like give me a guy that really has a lot of respect in there that we wouldn't think of.
I would say Carlos Rodon. That's the first name that pops into my head. Yeah. I think based on his Yankee timeline, so to speak, I think younger players can draw a lot from his Yankee timeline. And I feel like they're cognizant of that. And he's also cognizant of that. And he provides that wisdom because we've seen this pitcher at the lowest of lows in a Yankee uniform. And we've also, seen him come through in some big spots for this team in the last couple of seasons. And I think those experiences can only help, good, bad, or indifferent, when you're lending them to the Will Warrens of the world, prospects coming up through the system, Ben Hess, whomever it is, right? I think that is so invaluable. And Carlos Rodon, just as a person, he's terrific with his time. And again, you talk about the team being close or not. Guys like him, guys like Garrett Cole, obviously, you talked about who's perceived as more of a conventional leader, but they go out of the way. They take the liberty to point this stuff out to the younger arms on the pitching staff. So Carlos Rodon was the first name that popped into my head when you asked that.
Coming up next, more with Justin Shackil. Guys, let's be real. Managing your finances can feel unbelievably overwhelming. And between subscriptions you forget about, bills that keep going up, and trying to figure out where all your money actually goes each month, it's easy to forget and lose control. And who has time to track every transaction or hunt down all those hidden fees? That's where Rocket Money comes in. The personal finance app that helps you take control. It finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. I was shocked when Rocket Money showed me what I was paying for every single month. It was in excess of like $40 a month on things that I wasn't even watching, wasn't even using. It's crazy. I had completely forgotten about them, and it's already saved me money. And I also love how it tracks all my subscriptions. It lets me cancel them right in the app with just a few taps. There's no more hunting down customer service numbers. It even consolidates your checking, savings, loans, and investments into a single dashboard so you can get a clear view of your entire financial picture. Let Rocket Money help you reach your financial goals even faster. Join rocketmoney.com/locked-on. That's rocketmoney.com/locked-on. rocketmoney.com/locked-on. We want to thank you guys for making Locked On Yankees your first listen of the day, and thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. If you haven't already, go check out the new Everydayer Club, where you get access to an ad-free audio feed of Locked On Yankees, compatible with Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and every other major podcasting platform. And you also get an invite to the members-only Locked On Everydayer Club Discord server. It includes a group chat just for listeners of the show. So go over to lockedonyankees.supercast.com. If you're watching us on YouTube, you can click that QR code in the top right-hand corner of your screen or tap the link in the show notes to learn more. So, Justin, interesting thing you said at the end of that last segment there that I want to piggyback off of. We have Emmanuel Barbari on often. You work with him pretty often. I'm sure you guys have a great relationship. He comes on the show often. He's one of my best friends. And we asked him a few episodes ago who one of his closest friends is on the team. Not necessarily a friend, I wouldn't say, but a guy that's really good to him on road trips and a guy that's around him a lot and talks to him and converses with him, makes him feel like he belongs. And he told us Carlos Rodon. And that's why I'm very fascinated by the answer that you just gave of he's kind of like an unsung hero in that clubhouse. I am loving Carlos Rodon as a Yankee more and more as the days go on, because you really do learn things more from people who like are around the organization, are around the team, and talk to these guys. Do you have that same sense, not from a team perspective, but from just your reactions with the team, that Carlos Rodon is also kind of that way with you guys as well?
I think so. I think in the climate that we're in right now between athlete and media, where the athlete feels like it doesn't need media, Carlos Rodon in many ways is a breath of fresh air, because he's going to be pretty candid and transparent with you when you just want to ask him, extreme pitching conversation. When you want to have an extreme pitching conversation with him, he's going to be locked in. He's going to be engaged, and he might overshare. And you kind of understand where you would draw the limit in terms of sharing it to the masses and kind of keeping it to yourself for future reference, whether it could serve you down the road, if there's something that you want to share down the road, or if you truly want to kind of, you want to protect the player at some point, because maybe they're oversharing the information, and everything is hyper competitive now. So if he feels like this information could help the opponent at one point gain a smidge of an edge, like that's in the mind of these athletes and the front office personnel now in 2026. So I'm respectful of that, but he is a terrific go-to source for just trying to get into the weeds from a pitching perspective. Yeah, I would agree with Emmanuel. He's one of my favorite people to try and use that clubhouse time that we're allotted to try and, if he's in there. And again, in these days, not too many players show their face in that 50 to 60 minute window in which the media has that clubhouse availability. But when he's there, I think there's a short line to Carlos, because everybody kind of knows that he's willing to talk shop with them.
I love that.
Okay, switching gears a little bit. Do you think the Yankees are a legit World Series contender, or do you think they still need significant additions this offseason?
Well, I think Cody Bellinger is significant. So if you don't bring him back, yeah, you have a significant void to fill. Obviously, the easy solution is to just bring the player back. Are they good enough if they just do that? Maybe they need a little bit more. But again, people talk about the slow walk of the offseason, and it has been. I mean, we're not sugarcoating anything. It definitely has been slow. There's too much inactivity right now. But there are a ton of names still out there that you can bring in. So I think patience is required. What we're talking about on January 8th is obviously not going to be the same on February 8th, right before pitchers and catchers. It's not going to be the same in the heat of spring training on March 8th or March 25th when the season opens. So the team's going to look a lot different in a month than it does today. I think they are. I think they're going to be. They're the Yankees. Bottom line, they're in it every year. Whether or not you think the team fields a championship caliber roster all the time, bottom line, they're right there at the end. They're making the playoffs year over year, and I I think they're going to be able to catch up at some way, somehow, find a way to keep up with the offseason moves that everybody else in the division has been able to do so far. And I'll keep this in mind too, and I know you guys know this. Nobody wins a World Series trophy in December. So
True.
you can make a whole lot of noise about what the Blue Jays are doing and how the Orioles have improved. Bottom line, I think the Yankees, and this is why I think they're a championship caliber team, they are as good as anybody in terms of weathering the 162 game storm. So they know what it takes to be where they want to get to at the end of a regular season. And I think that's one of the biggest reasons why I feel like I can safely say without hesitation, yeah, they're a championship caliber team in 2026.
I'm glad you said that. Are you guys who are watching and listening, did you hear what Justin just said? Because so many of our listeners and viewers, we do a Fan Mail Friday episode, and so many of the questions are like, when are they going to do something? So I'm glad you said something, because you also have to think about the fact that if they don't significantly upgrade the team, and even if they just bring Bellinger back and there's still some things that they need to move around or figure out, there's always the trade deadline.
We say it on opening day too, kind of what the sentiment I just gave. Hey, the team that's just taking the field now and is lined up along the foul line is going to look a lot different in July, never mind in October. So
right.
I often think about this because I see what the fans are saying. It's not just Yankee fans, it's baseball fans in general. But thankfully I get to do what I love. But along the way, you get a little bit jaded. You kind of become desensitized with every single move that is made, and you don't react as harshly as you probably once would if I had my hard hat fan cap on. But I would just stress patience in this day and age. And no, it's so tough, but you just have to have patience.
We have two more to ask with Justin Shackil of the Yes Network before we get him out of here. Really quickly, give me a one-word answer, or I guess one number answer here. Realistically, how many years is the Yankee World Series window from right now until blank? How many years do they have where they have to get a World Series?
I think that's an endless circle, Brian.
Well, I mean,
I'm
talking Judge in his mid-30s, though. Cole in his mid-30s. Like,
yeah, I mean, look, Aaron Judge just turned 34 in April. Oh, man. How many years? Basically, how many years is the Judge window open at that apex of his prime? I can't put a number on Aaron Judge, dude. I can't. I can't put a number on Aaron Judge.
Though. Okay, I love that. That makes me feel better.
Right? That's what it boils down to. I mean, they won 94 games without Garrett Cole. I'm not saying that he doesn't matter, and I'm saying his prime is certainly something they have to pay attention to. But I think it all comes down to Judge, really.
That's a good point. And you're not going to replace that lead talent.
No, I mean, he's going to be 34. He hasn't shown any sign of slowing down. Had an injury second half of the season. We did see that. Something to monitor for sure. I know there's whispers. And nothing from the inside, but from the outside, oh, maybe he should start thinking about starting to play first base. None of that's happened yet, right? So, and until you start to see that decline, I guess, if you're a decision maker, you kind of have to try and start preparing for it. But I guess until I see it, I'm never counting Aaron, again, I'm never betting against Aaron Judge. So until I see it, I'm going to feel like that apex is still existing.
I'll take that. One more. Boxing, basketball, baseball, you cover it all. Your opinion on it all. You play-by-play. You're everywhere. Give me, and I know you don't get this way anymore, so it's probably going to be an answer from your past. Give me a starstruck moment that you've had in your career where you kind of still can't believe that this happened. Either you you had a conversation with somebody that you can't believe. Let me give mine first. Mine's a lot lower than yours. I got to hang out in a locker room with Grayson Allen during Duke's ACC tournament back when I worked at WFAN, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever, where he kind of just like gravitated towards me because we were the same age, and me and him just had a conversation. Yours is probably way cooler than mine, but give me your moment where you still think back and you're like, damn, I got to do that.
Yeah, I don't know if an individual made me starstruck, but definitely a couple of moments. One was certainly the Domingo Germán perfect game, if we're talking about a
It's gotta
Yankee
be it.
scenario. A big reason why, obviously, just because it's a perfect game. There's been fewer than 25 of those in big league history, but also I feel like my Yankee fandom is so tied around David Wells' perfect game because I went to that game as a kid
Oh,
with
wow.
my aunt and uncle, and it's one of those seminal moments of just my young baseball fanhood. So I always think about the intertwinement of those two events.
Mm.
I would say overall though, and it's a boxing memory, I was ringside doing the blow by blow. In boxing they call play by play blow by blow. I don't know why, but I was
Okay.
ringside at an Australian Football League stadium in Melbourne with 45,000 people for uh, a world lightweight undisputed title fight between Devin Haney and George Kambosos. I highly doubt many of your viewers are familiar with those two fighters. I don't know how many boxing fans we have here, but the big pinch me moment was I'm ringside here in this massive stadium filled, places going nuts, but Michael Buffer is in the ring as the ring announcer, and he's going through the introductions, and he's saying, "Let's get ready to rumble." And then, yeah, I kind of had that surreal moment, like, wow, this is all happening, and I'm ringside, like I'm looking up at Michael Buffer because of my position at the broadcast table. I'm just saying to myself, how did I get here?
That is
And
really cool.
yeah, and then the fighters enter the ring. He goes through all his introductions. The bell rings, and you kind of wipe that away quickly. You go to work and you do the job. But I thought about that a lot. I still think about it when you get asked the question. But that was probably the surreal pinch me moment of my career so far.
From my perspective, I don't have a vote here, but I think from my perspective, it's calling a perfect game. That's pretty freaking cool. Like you said,
Yeah,
less than 30 in history, and you're one of the voices. Like when they play that replay of the most random perfect games ever thrown in 100 years, and they go back to Domingo Germán versus the Athletics, your voice will be on that broadcast. Like that's pretty pinch me.
it absolutely is. I actually have my scorecard framed a few feet away from here, and
That's pretty cool.
There's a picture of Susan Wallman and I with both our scorecards, and then with my buddy Ryan Rucco, because I'm everyone's kind of documented it by now. Like
Yeah.
we're really close friends. He was doing the TV broadcast, I was doing the radio broadcast, and yeah, I mean, I love that night. I'll never forget it. I'm my own harshest critic naturally, so I wasn't in love with like the call that I did, but I think a lot of people would say that about their own work. But I uh, I'm never gonna forget it ever. I mean, Oakland Coliseum. I hope it stands forever, just because I had a terrific moment in the broadcast booth. So yeah, I was sad to see that place go out of the circuit here, but what a night, man! What a night.
Who knows? Maybe one of these days you'll get to double dip, right? You'll be out in Vegas and you'll call Cam Schlittler perfect game followed by a boxing match the next day in Vegas. You'll be able to do that hopefully.
Yes, that would be incredible for sure. And just a piggyback on that, the Baseball Hall of Fame in the days after the perfect game, they actually asked me if I would lend them my scorecard, and I already had plans for it. Like I just said, I framed it and everything like that,
Uh-huh.
and I was deliberating about it, and I actually I asked Susan, what she thought. She goes, tell them to get the next one.
Wow. Oh, I love
yeah,
that. You turned down
yeah.
the Hall of Fame. That's awesome.
I did.
That's so awesome.
So I always think about it like, man, I obviously a 1 in a million shot, but I think about that a lot. Like that's I have lofty expectations. Like, yeah, all right, I'm gonna go around and give the Hall the scorecard to my next perfect game. So we'll see if that ever happens.
Justin Shackil is his name. Yes Network, DAZN. You can find him everywhere, especially when you're at another Yankee game pregame. Justin, thank you so much for joining us.
Stacey, Brian, I appreciate talking to you guys. Thanks for having me on.
The wild card round is here. Oh, that feels so good to say. And FanDuel is officially in playoff mode. Every game during the NFL playoffs, FanDuel is giving customers even more ways to get in on the action. Because right now, every NFL playoff game, FanDuel users get a profit boost pack waiting for them inside the app. Each game day, you'll see a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts that you can apply to the bets that you like the most. Open your profit boost pack first thing on game day and see what boosts that you want to apply. The boosts let you lean into your in-game instinctions, whether you're backing momentum, defensive quarterbacks play, or coaching decisions. The boost that gives you more juice on the bets that you already like instead of forcing you to bet on something new. Also, every play can feel bigger, and the boost makes your bet feel that much more important too. You make your picks, then you apply for the profit boost to go even after your bigger payouts while the playoffs are still rolling. So visit FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL, and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. Stacey, that was an unbelievably exciting spot with Justin Shackil. Some really good evidence. I want to point out two things, and then I have a question for you. Okay. First off, I know I mentioned this when Justin was on, but like privately between the two of us, how awesome is Carlos Rodon? Like how much more confidence with the way that he's pitched in big moments, but the guy that he is, how much better do you feel about that signing?
I really appreciate the fact that he gets being in New York, and he has, like Justin said, and as Justin was saying it, it completely made sense to me because he's had every kind of moment that you can have in New York. Really bad moments and really good moments, and he can really help the young pitchers out when they come here. It's unbelievable.
I love seeing stuff like that. I also, you know what's funny is you always hear from guys inside the clubhouse, right, about the guys that are always mean to the media members. You always hear about the guys who weren't the best to media members and didn't treat guys right. I love hearing that Carlos Rodon like doesn't treat media members any differently than like his teammates. That is so cool to me. Like you don't see that a lot in professional sports, so a guy that deserves his credit 100%. I also find it interesting that he kind of acknowledged Aaron Judge. Yes, at some point they're going to have to look towards a future of what's after Aaron Judge, but he wouldn't give a timeline of like of the when Aaron Judge is up. And I know we watch on TV, we hear the games, and we know how great Aaron Judge is from our own perspective. But I find it crazy someone that's around him as often as it is kind of also has a sense of the aura of Aaron Judge. Like, oh no, there is no end in sight for how much this guy dominates the sport. That is kind of crazy to hear, no?
Yeah. But I mean, you saw what this year ended up being for him this past season, and there's no really slowing down for him. Like he was injured for a while there. He played through that injury. He may not have been on the IL for that long, but you could tell that something was not right with him. And he still won MVP because he's one of the best players on the planet right now.
Of all time.
Yeah.
I think that can be adjusted too, like of all time. I think he's actually entered that aura. You were alive for the 70s championships, but you don't really remember or appreciate them. Am I right?
Right.
Okay. I was alive for 98, 99, 2000, 2009. I also credit the same thing with my own life. Wasn't cognizant enough to understand the end of the dynasty. And honestly, 09, like I was in 7th grade. I kind of just stood up and said yay and went to bed. That was kind of like my reaction to them winning a World Series.
Yeah.
So I really haven't seen one in my adult life. I haven't gotten to celebrate one in my adult life. I haven't gone to a parade as an adult. It's a different feeling. Right. I want to ask you this because 96, young team, exciting team, energetic. You're injecting pinstripes into your blood 24/7. What would you have done? Like, what's the extreme that you would have gone to see them win the title in 96? Like, take yourself back to like June of 96. Would you have like emptied out your entire bank account? Would you have, I don't know, craziest scenario possible? Would you have moved to China? Would you like, what is the level of insanity that you think you would have went to actually see them win a title at that point?
Probably would have shaved my head.
You really would have.
Yeah.
I mean,
if someone said to me, if you shave your head right now, the Yankees are going to win the World Series in October, I'd be like, give me the Clippers right now. Actually, was I living? Oh no, I wasn't living next door to the beauty salon yet. But in fall of 96, when they were making their run, we lived off campus in a house off campus, and there was a beauty salon next. I would have walked right next door and been like, all right, shave it off.
Would you lose a toe? Pinky toe. I'll give you pinky toe. It's pretty insignificant. Like, you don't really use your pinky toe for anything. True. I would cut off. If you give me an anesthetic, I would lose my pinky toe for a title. That goes for Rangers or Yankees for me. I would easily lose a toe.
Oh, that's right.
Maybe not the big toe.
You didn't get to see the Rangers. Yeah.
I've never seen that. And I'm convinced that I'm never seeing the Rangers ever winning a title. I just don't think I'm like pretty convinced that at some point in my lifetime, I'll see a Yankee title. It'll just happen at some point. The Rangers I'm never seeing.
I think I told you the Rangers before 94 last won in 1940.
Uh-huh.
My dad was born in 1941. And then the Rangers win in 1994.
He never until 94. Wow.
Right. The Knicks last won a championship in 1973. Yep. I was born in 1974. The Knicks are about due for my championship in my lifetime. So that needs to happen at some point because I would like to see the Knicks win a championship.
I almost thought for a second. I was trying to do the math really quickly. If you were
the Knicks are my only team that has
it. I was trying to think if you were like a Knicks championship baby.
Nope, I missed it by
it's too late. Yeah, it's
a year and a couple of months. Yeah,
because you're August of the next year, so it would have been a really long pregnancy. So it's not possible.
I wasn't even a glimmer in the eye yet. That didn't happen until Christmas of '73.
Losing a pinky toe, Stacy 96, pinky toe, non-dominant foot.
I don't even have a dominant foot.
Well, all right, of the non-dominant side. Like you, I'm a lefty. You ask me my right pinky toe right now to see a Ranger cup. It's not even a question. I'm thinking about it for less than 8 seconds, and I'm coming up with an answer.
Yeah, I don't know if I cut a body part off. I'd shave my head, but I don't think I cut a.
That grows back though. Yeah. That grows back. I mean, for a girl, it's like more severe, but it grows back.
Yeah,
I would do it in a heartbeat. I really would. Yeah.
Let us know if you've made it this far in the show. Let us know if you cut a body part off to see the Yankees win. If you're like Brian's age and you weren't really cognizant of the dynasty years and 2009 meant nothing to you, or maybe you're a little younger than Brian, you haven't gotten to see really anything. Let us know in the comments.
I'm looking for the Malachis that listen to the show. Like, I want to know what if he would remove a toe, right? Because like a toe is not that significant. Now, I'm not going crazy. I'm not taking off a leg or an arm, nothing like that. But like a toe is not that significant. I'm doing it for a Yankee title. There's not many things that I'm removing a toe for, but like Yankee title, Ranger title, like I'm probably doing that. And I'm not thinking that hard about it either. It's a pretty easy decision, honestly.
I did not think we were going to be talking about amputation, but
here we are.
You get everything on Locked On Yankees.
You really do.
So thank you for tuning in to today's episode of Locked On Yankees. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you follow us so you get all the latest updates on YouTube. You can also follow us on Instagram at Locked On Yankees, all one word. You can follow us on TikTok, LockedOn_Yankees. And if you never miss an episode, the Everydayer Club is built for you. Get Locked On Yankees ad-free. You get access to a members-only Discord, so you get to chat about the Yankees, and you can chat with other hosts of other shows too. So head to lockedonyankees.supercast to join the club. And before we go, QR code for those on YouTube. Use your phone, click on it. You can join that way. It's a fun time. For those of you on video, we send you to the first ever 24/7 national Locked On Podcast Network YouTube channel on audio. Make sure you listen to Sully. Make him your second listen at Locked On MLB. So that'll do it for this edition of Locked On Yankees. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias.
And I'm Brian McKeon. We'll see you tomorrow for Fan Mail Friday.